So you think you have foundation problems and you want us to come out to visit your home. What's the next steps? What's the process? How long is it going to take? And will you know the repair plan the same day as the inspection? Today, we're going to answer those questions and even more. What do you do after the inspection is scheduled? Well, first thing that happens is you get a confirmation email from our office, and that email includes the specialist like myself's information, including email, phone, you could text, there's notes in there. And then what happens is someone like me, the project design specialist, goes through your notes and then reaches out to you prior to the inspection. And then we kind of go through what the process is going to be over the phone. And then sometimes if the notes are pretty cut and dry of what you need, I'll just text the day before or call a few days in advance just to let you know that we're still on target for our inspection time and date. Absolutely. Unless we're dealing with Southern California traffic patterns, and it depends how long the first inspection takes, but normally, well, I was taught when I was younger, if you're not early, you're late. Some people don't like you to be too early, so I try not to be, but I'll sit in my car and answer some emails and talk on the phone a little bit, just to, maybe update some notes from some previous inspections. But yeah, normally I'm about 10 minutes early, and then if I'm running a little bit late on the second appointment or the third due to traffic patterns, because you never know in Southern California, and I will always let the customer know that my ETA. Yes, I text the night before just to make sure everything is copacetic as far as the time is concerned. And then sometimes I'll call on the way if I'm going to be a little bit early or, exactly on time, just to make sure everything's great. I always hand them my business card so they know I'm legitimate. And then I let them lead me through their home of the signs that they're seeing of foundation settlement. And a lot of these go pretty similar. They'll ask me, what would you like to look at? And then I just tell them, what do you see by living here? And then due to a lot of my experience, I can normally tell prior to even going to the house, whether it's on a cut fill lot or it's on a slope, where the settlement is occurring. And it's usually pretty correct, but I just spend some time, let the homeowner show me the cracks they're seeing, the slopes they're seeing, the doors or windows that don't close correctly. And then we just do that for a while before I get started with my inspection. Most of the time I go in the crawl space. There are minimal times where I don't. The code is required to have the crawl space to be at least 18 inches. So if it's not 18 inches, I will definitely not go in the crawl space. But most of the time, that's the last thing that you do, because in essence, if it's a settling home, that's the least expensive part of this process. So first off, you do the repair plan, talk to the homeowner, do the measurements. If it's deemed to go in the crawl space, and if there's water issues or you think there's some sort of settlement in the center, then yes, that's when you go. So I would say 75% of the time I would go in crawl spaces on a raised foundation home. The answer is absolutely. I do everything on an iPad. So I do all my measurements on a program called ArcSite, and I draw the floor plan, add the elevations, and sometimes I'm going to tell them that there's not much wrong. I don't want to give a proposal on site because sometimes I need to think about it and process it, and it's nice to do that when I'm in my office at home, and then I can send it to them that day. But I don't want to tell them the wrong thing while I'm there without having to dive into it. But absolutely, I tell them what's happening before I leave. So I would say 95% of the time, I try to get mine out that afternoon, where it's fresh. I'm still thinking about it. I'm thinking about the different nuances of the repair or what I need to add to it. So sometimes there's a little more complications to repair plans where I have to speak to somebody like a structural engineer to see if it's something that we want to do or dive into. And then they may get their proposal a day or two later, but I would say in the high 90 percentile, they're getting it that day. Yes, I do go over the proposal. While I'm there, I look at the repair plan and show them, point it out where the elevations are differentiated, where the piers are gonna go. And then when I get home, I actually do the proposal itself, then I email it to them. And normally we're in contact within a day or so, sometimes even that afternoon or evening, talking about it. But there's certain nuances where I want to do a little bit better on this aspect, where I may start videoing me going over the proposal and sending that to them via email. That's something we are starting to do as a company, but it's still new, but I think it's gonna be very beneficial. There's little aspects to our proposals that don't come up all the time that I wanna point out, just so there's no surprises in the end. So yes, I do go over the proposal either that day or within the next couple days. So now that you know the process of the foundation inspection, please feel free to reach out to me with any questions that you might have. Thanks for watching the video, and remember, never settle on an unsafe home.